The views and opinions on this show do not necessarily reflect the views of ESPN Tucson 1490 AM, 94.9 HD Channel 4, or the Arizona Lotus Corporation.
Welcome to Spears and Ali on ESPN Tucson.
Justin Spears, I like that.
With Justin Spears and Ali Farhang on 1490 AM, 94.9 HD Channel 4, ESPN Tucson. Brought to you by Tucson Federal Credit Union, the Volpe team at Nova Home Loans, and Rightway Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
I want to be entertaining, but I'm not stupid enough to compare myself to Ali.
Happy game day. Happy Friday. Welcome to Spears and Ali right here on ESPN Tucson, 1490 AM, and the Spears and Ali podcast. We're streaming live on ESPNTucson.com and the ESPN Tucson mobile app. And a huge thank you to all of our viewers on YouTube. Please subscribe to the Spears and Ali YouTube channel today. I'm Justin Spears here with my good buddies, our producer, Andrew Trujillo, and one half of Spears and Ali, Mr. Ali Farhang. What's up, fellas? Happy Friday.
Good morning, fellas. Friday it is. And
Friday the 13th.
Holy smokes.
Yo, actually,
Did not
that's
know.
right.
How do you not know, Andrew?
It's early, man.
I would think that you would have that circled on your calendar.
I mean, I kind of did, but again, it's early.
Huh.
I haven't thought about anything this morning.
You gonna find a tattoo shop today?
Maybe. We'll see.
That's a thing.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Friday the 13th, you like to
Mhm.
get a tattoo?
Well, no, it's usually tattoo parlors and like piercing parlors will have like specials on Friday the 13th.
Interesting.
It used to be like $13 tattoos. Now it's like, come in and get a $20 flash or 2-for-1 piercings or whatever. It's still good deals.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
Yeah. Friday the 13th is like Black Friday for tattoo shops.
yeah. So if I come in with a tramp stamp on Monday, you'll know why.
Another one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I got to get this one covered up.
Yeah.
You gonna get Chip Hale tattooed on your lower back?
I suppose.
Heck yeah.
It's
Why Chip Hale?
It's
I don't know.
Well, why not Chip Hill?
You know what? You're right.
Let's see what happens in the College World Series. But yeah, the most funny thing is when you see men or women of a certain age, when they're vibrant, they might get like luscious as on the right above their butt crack,
Uh-huh.
their tramp stamp. And then, 20 years pass and then it just becomes loveless.
I always thought it'd be funny to get Flaco tattooed on my stomach.
Yeah. And then in 20 years, it's going to be like flaw.
Yep.
The C is buried within the folds.
Flack. But you said you wanted to get the Block A,
Yeah.
right?
I feel like
In
I have to
Flacco?
at some point. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, speaking of the Block A, it is officially game day, and the College World Series starts today. The Arizona Wildcats baseball team, they're taking on the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers at 11 o'clock. So in just over a few hours, we're going to see Arizona back in Omaha for the first time since 2021, and we'll see the Wildcats can win their first championship since 2012.
Pardon the interruption, pun intended. What is the mascot of the Coastal Carolina baseball team? Or school?
Chanticleers?
The Chanticleers.
Yeah.
Did not know that.
Yeah. And come to find out, the Chanticleer is essentially like a fighting chicken. So South Carolina, they love themselves some chickens. You got the South Carolina Gamecocks, you got the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers, and then you got the Clemson Tigers. So I guess Clemson doesn't really like the fighting chickens. But yeah, the Chanticleers.
Okay.
And the Chanticleers, as we all know, they beat the Arizona Wildcats in the 2016 College World Series national championship final. So this is a rematch of the 2016 championship. And our guy, Michael Lev, who's been covering the Arizona Wildcats baseball program all year long, he's got a great story on those guys from the Arizona team in 2016, which was a great club. They had great camaraderie, great chemistry, and they went through what that loss was like, and they think about that loss to this day. But you know what? There have been some great moments for Arizona baseball in Omaha, and we had Andy Lopez on earlier in the week talking about that 2012 club and just how special it was. And you know what, Ali, I gotta say, I feel a little bit of that magic with this year's team. Like, they may not be the best team in Omaha right now. When you look at the field, right? They're definitely better than Murray State. I feel comfortable saying that.
Why?
Well, because
How much Murray State have you watched?
you know what? That's fair.
It's just because it's Murray State?
That's fair.
I don't know. You don't know. I mean, I've seen a couple of these teams play, and Arizona as a team may be playing as well as anybody.
Sure.
Do they have the one like Paul Skeens pitching star, hitting star that everybody knows? Maybe not, but as a team, pretty pretty damn good. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Coastal Carolina, of all the College World Series games I watched, played some of the best baseball out of anybody.
Yeah.
LSU. So this is a big game for Arizona.
Well, they're riding a 23-game winning streak going into this game.
They're starting a pitcher that has given up 2 runs over those last 17 innings. I mean, the Chanticleers are nothing to sneeze at, and they're good.
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to be a tough opening game for Arizona, and but I kind of feel like maybe they got that magic. It's an interesting matchup. I think you got 2 teams with really good juju.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be a battle today.
Absolutely. But what I was saying earlier was Arizona, when you look at their roster, they're pretty damn good. I feel comfortable in saying that, Arizona is, one of the better teams in the country. Obviously, they're one of the 8 hottest teams in the country. And that's one thing that Andy Lopez said. He's like, sometimes it's not about the most talented teams. The College World Series is just the 8 teams that are playing the best baseball at this particular point in the season. And you may not have the most talent, but that togetherness, that chemistry, that can really take you a long way. And that team in 2012, like I'll never forget going into the College World Series final when they played against, I think it was South Carolina. And South Carolina they had all the Major League Baseball players. I kept hearing about their great first baseman, Pancake. That was his last name. I don't know what Pancake is up to nowadays, but they talked about Pancake this, Pancake that.
He owns 5 Waffle Houses in Fayetteville, Arkansas.
Yeah, he's trying to flip him to the dark side.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But everyone talked about how great this South Carolina baseball team was, and then Arizona took care of business in a couple of games, and they went 10-0 in the postseason. So maybe Arizona baseball, I feel like they have a little bit of that 2012 magic, and we'll see if that's going to happen in Omaha. But like you said, Ali, Coastal Carolina, 23-game winning streak, maybe the best pitching personnel in all of college baseball. They have the second best ERA nationally. And they're not even starting their best pitcher. Like the guy they're starting today, Riley Eichhoff, he's got a 2.90 ERA, but they have another guy who's better. So they're keeping their best arm for the future. But man, because it is a double elimination event. But yeah, Arizona, they have their work cut out for them. But
take it personal. Man, they didn't even start their best pitcher against you. They're overlooking you. They don't think anything of you. Like, put that chip on your shoulder.
And I think that Arizona is going into this game with a chip on the shoulder because, they were a team that had to scrap and claw their way through the postseason. They didn't get that regional, right? They didn't host. They've spent a lot of time on the road, but we talked to Mason White earlier this week, and he said, there's something about our team whenever we're on the road, we're together and it feels like home. But, Arizona didn't get a chance to host that regional despite winning the Big 12 championship. First time a Big 12 champion didn't host a regional since 1999. And, maybe Arizona feels like they're kind of being overlooked, or they've been overlooked all year long. And I think that this team filled with underdogs, headlined by their head coach, Chip Hale, I feel something special with this group.
Well, now it's the time for Ollie's reference to something you don't know what he's talking about unless you're over the age of 40. They've got that Robert Conrad, I dare you to knock this battery off my shoulder or feeling right now.
Enlighten me.
It's something I just got to show you. It's a commercial for Duracell batteries or some battery. And he just stood there. Robert Conrad was kind of a, man's man. He was the lead actor in a TV show called Baba Black Sheep, which was kind of like they were fighter pilots around the World War II period.
Did he have any wool?
In Asia. Any wool?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Yeah, the black sheep.
No, I don't know why they call them the black sheeps, because they were all that segment of the military's fighting battalion or whatever they were all like a little bit. They always got the job done, but they weren't what you would say in line with military discipline.
Mm-hmm.
So they call them the black sheeps. And Robert Conrad, he had this commercial for a battery, and he just stood there and be on the screen, with the smolder saying, I dare you to knock this battery off my shoulder. I dare you. That was the commercial. Yeah, that's pretty much where Arizona's at right now. So they got some Robert Conrad going with them right now. There you go. You guys have, again, there's Ollie's reference to something that you don't know what I'm talking about unless you're over the age of 40.
Let's continue to talk more about
the color back then, Ollie.
It was.
Let's talk more about the College World Series here, but I just want to give a huge thanks to our sponsors, the Volpe team at Nova Home Loans, Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, and Tucson Federal Credit Union.
Spoke to all three yesterday. Tucson Federal Credit Union did a great job with a question I had from a banking standpoint, right on it. Paul Volpe, Nova Home Loans. I needed a referral for an appraiser. Within 2 minutes, I got that referral in Palm Springs, California.
Hell yeah.
And then Right Way Heating and Cooling came to Casa Farhang yesterday, checked my air conditionings. We did a little video thing. I'm sure it's going to get posted by Right Way here sooner or later. And my guy Kevin and Gabriel came to the house, man. They did a great job. Definitely feeling very confident now that we have really entered into the dog days of summer in Tucson.
Mm-hmm.
I'm set, man. I'm set. I have no trepidation whatsoever about my butt being cool all summer in my house. And my butt needs to be cool, especially when I'm sleeping. Hot butt's not good. Not good when you're sleeping.
Damn straight.
You don't want sweaty butts.
What do you set the thermostat at when you go to bed?
74.
Okay.
75.
That's solid.
Yeah.
Solid.
Yeah. I don't really it's all about the blankets, right? In the winter, you add the comforter. In the summer, it's a little bit lighter. Something's got to be over me. I can't sleep over anything.
Light sheet.
And 75, 76. I can sleep in that for sure. No problem.
I'm a 78 guy.
Yeah.
We're a bit of lizards in my house.
Nothing wrong with that.
Is that being frugal or being a lizard?
Yes.
Yeah.
It just works both ways, baby.
It's a win-win.
At the end of the day, it's like, man, I could have had it at 75 if I just didn't get a Starbucks 3 days a week.
I don't go to Starbucks. Caffeine makes me jittery.
Yeah, don't do it.
But going back to the College World Series, something to pay attention to today is Adonis Guzman, Arizona's catcher.
Yeah.
Coastal Carolina is known to steal bases. So look out for that today. They're one of the, according to our guy Brian Jeffries yesterday, Coastal Carolina is one of the top base stealing teams in college baseball right now. So look out for them to be aggressive and get after it. And Adonis Guzman, great defensive catcher. Look for him to get some guys out.
Well, not just Adonis, but I'm sure that Chip and Kevin Vance were talking to the pitchers about, you know, you're going to have to probably throw over to first a little bit more often than you usually do just to keep them honest, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I mean, Kremkowski's pitching for Arizona, right? Yeah. And he didn't.
Let's hope it's better than the Super Regional.
He didn't have the greatest outing in the Super Regional, but he's rested.
Yeah.
And he's been good more often than not in the regionals. And then the Big 12 tournament, he was lights out. So let's hope he needs to bring his A game because, you know, more likely than not, Arizona's not going to score a bunch of runs in this game. So this is going to be, you know, if an Arizona victory, it's going to be 4-2, 6-3, something of that nature.
Mason White hitting a home run?
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Really what you want to do is when you got good starting pitchers like this, you want to make them work and, you know, just make good contact. Base hits are good.
Well, speaking of base hits, man, Mesa White ranks second all-time in career home runs. As we know, he's got 48 in his career, and he is tied for first in extra base hits with 110. And I believe that record is tied with the skipper, Chip Hale.
No, really?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but
I can't. I have no idea.
Yeah, Mesa White, I'm hoping that we get to see him have a good performance out there in Omaha. And, you know, this is a special College World Series for him too, because, you know, his dad, Ben, played at the University of Arizona. His grandfather also played at the U of A too. And he's the first one from his family to take Arizona to the College World Series. And man, I got to say, I was watching a couple of videos that Arizona Baseball posted yesterday on social media, and they had the players watch Chip Hale play in the College World Series. They brought up a video from 1986 when I think they went up against Florida State. And You know,
why do I think like we beat Maine for a national championship? I know we played, maybe it was like the semis,
maybe,
but I feel like we beat Maine. Maybe it was 86. I don't know.
Yeah. But, you know, I was watching Chip Hale highlights. I got to say, Chip Hale was a damn good player, man.
Yeah.
Was a damn good player. Like, of course, like you see the stats, you see where he stands in the record books and the stat books and all that. But man, when you actually like watch the videos, I was like, look at Chipper, man.
Played in the major leagues.
Fast as hell too, out here stealing bases. Like I know, again, I know Chip Hale was a damn good player, but actually seeing it on film, I was like, man, Chip, solid player, man.
Yeah. Can you let
Really
Andrew
fast.
know that in 1986 we did live in a world of color as well? The
Yes.
video was in color.
Oh, I know 86 was in color.
Yeah. Just yeah. Chip Hale's older than me, man.
I know.
Yeah.
You said older than 40. That's 39 years ago.
Yeah.
Also, it's Dave Stegman.
Dave
not-
Stegman.
Not Chip Hale.
Not Chipper.
Stegman in the 70s.
73 to
6.
76.
Andrew, you know, the other thing is we also had fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you had to pray for it to come down from the sky.
And you know what else? Kids played outside and
Yeah.
kept themselves busy, and
So did I.
parents let them play outside.
Yep.
We drank from the hose.
I feel like I was the last of that.
What do you mean we?
What? I drank from the hose.
Did you as your generation, I'm asking you guys because you're
Yes.
both the same. Did you guys after school, everybody's like, hey, we're going to meet at this park and just play Nerf football?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you were the
Or,
last
or
of
pick
it.
up basketball or
Yeah. You were the last of it. Then.
we'll go play wall ball or something like that. Yeah, totally.
Okay. That
And-
doesn't happen anymore. Like today, kids don't play sports unless it's something that's organized,
Uh-huh.
which kind of sucks.
Mhm.
Right. And you know, I remember like coaching, I'm sorry for digressing, but it's what we do. But I remember like coaching, like even at the high school level, and just being astounded that we had to teach kids like the fundamentals of football. Where when you used to play in the park, like you play running back, you play receiver, you play quarterback,
Yeah.
you kind of learned a lot of the different intricacies of the game itself. And you go into high school or junior high football, and you already know, like, you know, here's how I get leverage, and here's what I do here. Completely gone now
Mhm.
because nobody's figuring it out. And then they're playing organized sports, and then maybe a coach puts them in one position, and it's like, oh, I don't know what these other positions do. So that's just the way it is. I don't know. It sucks. But I mean, there's a lot of things that are better today than they were yesterday. But one of the things maybe not is that, you know, parents weren't so protective and possessive and had this helicopter mentality where we would just go out and actually go play together. They weren't worried about summer camps and us staying at home and playing video games all day because we didn't really have any. I had Atari, and the best game was like Joust,
Mhm.
which
Great
was
game.
awesome.
Yeah,
Which was awesome.
Joust is awesome.
Yeah. But even when I had an Atari, we didn't like sit in the room and play it all day. Like we wanted to go play basketball, go play tennis, go throw the football around, go swimming.
I was always on a time limit. 1 hour on the video game, and that's it.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's Ollie Farhang's segment on yesteryear. Now that I've done anything over 40. So
All right. Before we go to commercial break and talk about the Arizona Board of Regents approving Becky Burke's contract as the head coach of the Arizona women's basketball team.
Well, thank God for that. She's already here.
I know, but you got to get cleared by the Board of Regents and do the whole formal process. So we'll talk about that. Also, the Big 12 opponents were announced for Arizona basketball. So we'll get into that here in just a little bit. But before we go to break, I got to tap in with our in-house hockey expert, Andrew Trujillo, about last night's Stanley Cup final, man. So Edmonton gets it done in overtime, 5-4. And now the series is tied up 2-2 going back to Canada. Leon Draisaitl was the big hero of the night. He was the one who scored the game-winning goal. Crazy hockey game last night. Is it safe to say that was the craziest game of the series, which has been pretty crazy so far?
I don't know, honestly, because game 1 and 2 were, I would say, equally as nuts. I just don't know if they were as physical. Because, I mean, this is the third game of the 4 games so far to go to overtime.
Yeah.
Which is nuts. Like, if you really think about it, another bounce, and it could be a completely different series.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It was definitely one of the crazier. The Edmonton became, I think, the 7th or 8th team in Stanley Cup final history to overcome a 3-0 deficit to win a game. All time.
Damn.
Yeah.
And it went up 3. It was in the first period, right?
First period, it was
3-0.
3-0. They went into the intermission down 3.
And I was feeling bad for you and your wife, Alexis, who Alexis is an Edmonton fan. I was feeling good about my over 6.5 bet, which hit. I'm really happy about also. But man, when they were up 3-0, the suffocating way that Florida plays, I was actually pleasantly surprised Edmonton made that comeback. It was, I mean, that was incredible.
I don't know if it's just Paul Maurice or if it's Florida or if it's just that group of guys, but the Panthers, if they get a good lead, they stop playing hockey and they just start bullying you.
Yeah.
It's not about getting the puck or scoring. It's just about stopping you, which is, I mean, a really smart way to play, but obviously it didn't work out for him last night.
It's kind of like the old New Jersey Devils when they get a lead.
Yeah.
And it's just like they play this zone and really kind of just constrict any kind of movement on their side of the blue line.
Yeah.
So two observations from actually watching. Number one, Florida, like this full court press all the time. It's got to be just absolutely exhausting for the Edmonton guys. Number two, I don't think I've ever seen a team with more punchable faces than the Florida Panthers. Like every guy's face, I'm like, God, that guy needs to be punched.
Yeah. Especially Brad Marchand, number 63. That guy sucks.
Yeah. Who's number 13?
Sam Reinhart, also a punchable guy.
Definitely punchable face, Sam Reinhart. Yeah. So, I mean, when Florida scored that goal with 19 seconds left in the third period to tie it up and go to overtime, I'm like, ooh, momentum is a fickle thing.
Yep.
And then they hit the puck off the top post in overtime, and I'm like, oh, right. And if I'm going, I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
You guys were at Union last night watching,
we were
right?
Sucking buttermilk a little bit.
Union Public.
We were for the first couple periods, and then we came back home.
Yeah. Good time at Union.
Yeah.
It's good. It's a good way to support
Union,
local.
Yeah.
Union's awesome. Charcuterie board.
No, but I got the La Torta. It's just a sandwich over there.
Yeah, the tort.
Yeah, that's what it translates to if you didn't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, Leon Draisaitl, I think, became the all-time overtime game-winning goal scorer in the Stanley Cup Finals. He now has 4.
Gosh.
Or in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Is he like the Tyrese Halliburton of hockey?
Right now, he certainly is.
Also, Leon
funny.
Drysdale. Leon, named after the lead singer of the lead singer in the band Animal House. That make me want to shout band, where you're like, hey, my man Leon, and he just looked at him like, who are you?
Yeah.
Right? They went to the wrong bar, so they should not have been there. You mind if we dance with your ladies?
All right, coming up next on Spears and Ali, we're going to talk about Arizona basketball and the Big 12 opponents. Also talk about Becky Burke officially getting her contract as the head coach of the Arizona women's basketball team. And like Andrew said, it's like, man, okay, she's just now getting her contract. She's been building her entire team during this time. Plus, we'll check in with Arizona Wildcat Zach Polo at the U.S. Open and see where he's at.
Tied with Rory McIlroy and Phil Mickelson. We'll tell you what that means.
Yeah, well, round 2 is officially underway, and it's not looking good for our guy Zach Polo. But we'll check in with him. Plus, we're going to talk more NBA Finals. We got our Freak Out Friday. We're going to talk College World Series. If you want to join the show, hit us up, 719-1490, 719-1490. We got more Spears and Ali coming up next. ESPN Tucson is giving you guys a chance to win tickets to Tom Segura's Come Together Comedy Tour on Friday, November 7th and Saturday, November 8th at the Tucson Convention Center. All you got to do is text the word Tom to 520-719-1490 for your shot at winning a pair of tickets. Tickets are on sale now. Get your tickets by visiting espntucson.com or test your luck. Text the word Tom to 520-719-1490. Message and data rates may apply.
Don't you think with all the craziness in the world today, coming together is a good thing? Like we need more of that. We need more Tom Segura coming together.
Absolutely.
I'm not trying to be funny. I understand there's a double meaning to what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Both are good, but I'm just saying what I'm intending to kind of convey is, I don't know, if you're out there, it just takes one person at a time. Let's just come together a little bit more. We're really not that, we're not all that different, all of us.
Yeah, I agree with you either way.
And you never know what people are going through, so be kind. All right, coming up next
He yells at the guy driving in front of him too slow.
That's different. Okay?
Yeah.
That's
but
different.
not me. Not me. It doesn't apply to me.
Yeah.
I'm going to be an ass.
When you get cut off by the guy with the Benz Bell sticker on the back of his car.
Yeah.
Learn how to drive, man. That's all I'm saying. All right. Let's check in on the U.S. Open, aka the House of Horrors at Oakmont Country Club in Pennsylvania. And shout out to Arizona Wildcat Zachary Polo, the first Arizona golfer under head coach Jim Anderson to qualify for the U.S. Open. He is one of 10 amateurs in the field right now, and made history. And I mean, Zach is one of the top college golfers. Had a great season at Arizona. Won the individual title at the St. Andrews Intercollegiate over there at the birthplace of golf. So
cool,
like winning that individual title, going to St. Andrews, winning an event, qualifying for the U.S. Open, like Zach Polo is riding high right now. It's probably because he's a Kings fan. Because the Kings
Sacramento Kings?
Yeah, he's a Sacramento Kings fan. We had him on the show.
That's
We were
right.
like, "You a Kings fan?" I was like, "Yeah, sorry about De'Aaron Fox. Sorry about Tyrese Halliburton." So, yeah, Zachary Polo.
Light the beam.
We're lighting the beam for our guy, Zachary Polo, but it's looking pretty rough right now for our guy because, hey, he was in the top 10 yesterday.
It was.
Had a great start to
great front nine.
U.S. Open.
He started on the back nine. He birdied hole 9, his first hole, 70-foot plus putt for a birdie. Pretty much stayed even on the front 9. Then the back 9, he had a string of like 4 out of 5 holes bogeys.
Yeah.
Finished +4 and tied with Rory McIlroy and Phil Mickelson. So you got that going for you. I mean, here's something that none of us are ever going to say. After the first round, we were tied with Rory McIlroy and Phil Mickelson. Those words will never actually be true. And then today's kind of gotten off to a rough start. I think he started on the front 9 today. That front 9, he just seems to kind of give him some issues. So hopefully he's through 4 right now. Hopefully he makes the turn. He can kind of keep it. He's at +8 and he can get that score in around the +6, +5 range. I think that'll be the cut.
Yeah.
That's where he needs to be.
He double bogeyed his first 2 holes, and then now he's on the 5th hole. He just parred the last 2. So double bogey the first 2, par the last 2, and we'll see if he can figure it out. And it'd be cool to see our guy Zach Polo make the cut. And this is a really challenging course. You know, I mean, we talked about it yesterday that the greens are essentially like glass. I mean, they are so fast. And
they were playing a little softer yesterday, but as the tournament goes on and the heat kicks in, it's going to get faster and faster.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the challenging holes too, hole 8 is a par 3, and it's like a 300-yard par 3.
Yeah.
It's 300 yards, and it's surrounded by bunkers. So
guys are using their driver because I think it's uphill too.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, you just played in a tournament, I think a couple weeks ago where you guys were driving.
Yeah.
Right. It was it the PGA Championship?
Yeah.
Whatever it was. I'm like, well, it's fun when you get to drive the hole on a par 4, but it's not fun when it's a par 3. I mean, come on.
I do know that. I mean, whoever's running Oakmont, man, it might be the devil himself. That course is insane looking.
Yeah. Did you see the gorilla on hole 3 that's in front of the hole with his arm swinging, and if your ball hits at the same time, it knocks it away?
Yeah.
And there's a windmill on hole 16.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forget who was playing yesterday when I was at Union. They had the U.S. Open on, and someone was in the rough. I didn't know who it was, but you couldn't see his shoes.
Yeah.
I was amazed. He was in the first cut. Couldn't see his shoes.
Couldn't see his shoes. Obviously, you couldn't see the ball.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, you're just hacking grass out there. And I saw a lot of guys hit some impressive shots and get out of the thick stuff. And it's honestly just a golf course from hell.
Yeah, it's great.
That's the best way I could describe it.
It's great. I love it.
And when you watch these guys playing it, you're like, all right, hey, one of us. Like for the first time ever, I watched Scotty Scheffler play, and I was like, man, looking like me at Dorado.
Not really, buddy. Not looking like you whatsoever at Dorado or anywhere else, but it's
or anywhere.
Yeah, yeah.
Scotty Scheffler was +4.
Yeah,
yesterday.
If you're +4, you're coming on the show and you're like, Ollie, you don't need to talk the whole 2 hours.
I'm riding high.
I'm gonna go shot by shot.
Yeah.
And I shot 4 over. If you shoot 4 over at golf and stuff, you're gonna be beaming with pride.
Absolutely.
Justin. I don't know
Some
if
of those holes are hard.
Look, I mean, I don't know if you guys get the same I do, but I've got a bunch of buddies, some friends in town, and they're all, every time there's a major or a big golf tournament, they have these pools and you pick, golfers and whoever wins gets the pot. And I just was watching everything on Oakmont and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to pass. because I think the U.S. Open is going to be a leaderboard of. Oh yeah, I've heard of that guy. Wait, who's that guy?
Yeah.
It's gonna be crazy how this ends up. Now you got who was making a run today? Victor Hovland was making a run today.
Yeah, Victor Hovland's on it.
But if you look at like the top 10, I mean, there's like a lot of names you don't normally see in the leaderboard in a major.
Thomas Detry from Belgium, Emilio Grillo from Argentina.
I mean, Southwest Kim, he's pretty good. He's usually up there.
Southwest Kim, Siwoo Kim.
He's pretty good.
And I mean, JJ Spawn, the leader,
Yeah,
right? We don't normally hear his name often, and he had the first bogey-less round since 2016
I know.
when Dustin Johnson
And
won.
the Jacksonville Jaguars quarterback finally doing something productive. He's second. Trevor Lawrence, he's at -3.
I've never seen Tristan spelled that way.
Thurston Lawrence.
Like,
Thriston.
is it Thriston or Tristan?
I don't know.
Okay.
It's spelled Thriston.
What flag is that? South Africa?
South
Yeah.
Africa.
Yeah.
So it's Tristan.
So yeah, I mean, the U.S. Open, it's been entertaining to watch. The golfers definitely looked. Again, I say this with all due respect, more amateurish, but
I think it's just the course.
No,
the course is hell, man.
I take
That's
it
the
the
best
other way. They're looking more professional. Like the shot making is more incredible because it's so hard.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the scores are lower. That does not make them look amateurish, but the amount of skill it's taking to get through those 18 holes, I think, is actually very, very obvious. I mean, it's like incredible.
All right, before we go to commercial break and get to Freak Out Friday, the Big 12 opponents was announced for Arizona basketball yesterday.
Yeah, we're going to predict records?
And no, we're not going to predict
Okay.
records. We're game by game. Let's go through it, Ollie.
Yeah.
So the Big 12 opponents are the following. At McHale Center, we have West Virginia, Oklahoma State, Cincinnati, Iowa State, Kansas State, and Texas Tech. And those are home only. Away.
Wait, did you say Kansas?
So the home and away, there are 3 teams that
Okay.
Arizona's playing, both obviously here and on the road. BYU, ASU, and Kansas.
Yeah.
So Brett Yormark, the Big 12 commissioner last year, was like, we learn from our mistakes. That was a big mistake, only having Arizona versus Kansas once in Lawrence. We're going to get, 2 of maybe the biggest names in the conference to go toe-to-toe twice in a season. So Arizona basketball fans, in addition to that crazy non-conference schedule, which starts off against the national champs in Florida, in Las Vegas.
Bring them on.
And,
Bring them on.
of course, you got Alabama, you got Auburn, you got to go on the road and play against UConn, and a whole UCLA as well. So the non-conference schedule is going to be great, but man, Arizona versus Kansas twice a year, you love to see it. So home and away, Arizona versus Kansas, ASU, BYU. But yeah, the home only games where Arizona is obviously not going on the road to play these teams: West Virginia, Oklahoma State, Cincinnati, Iowa State, Kansas State, and Texas Tech. And then on the road only games, Houston, going to be a tough battle. TCU, Baylor, Colorado, UCF, and Utah.
So non-conference, we're playing 19 games, and conference is how many games?
In conference?
In conference.
I'm pretty sure it's 20, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, so 39
Yeah.
games, right? If Arizona finishes 39 games, 25-14, we should be a top 3 seed, and I think we can win a national championship.
Absolutely.
That's how tough our schedule is.
And, oh, by the way, 18-game conference
18.
for Big 12.
Okay, so 37 games.
Yeah.
So let's say 25 and what is that? 12. 25 and 12 is an amazing year with that schedule.
Also, Zach Polo just bogeyed 5.
Tremendous.
Yeah.
That's okay, man. I mean, what an experience.
Yeah.
And gets to be out there with all those professionals. And look, that's awesome. For somebody that's absolutely put over 10,000 hours in his craft.
Yeah.
Play at the U.S. Open at Oakmont, man. What an experience.
When it's kind of baptized by fire, this is his first ever PGA Tour event.
Oh, yeah.
Your first ever PGA Tour event, number 1. Number 2, it's the U.S. Open, so it's a major. Yeah. And number 3, it's at a course that
is in the third circle of hell.
That Dustin Johnson said, no, this is literally the hardest course we've ever played at. Yeah. Scotty Scheffler said, this is the most challenging course I've ever played at. So, yeah, Zach Polo getting that good experience. All right, coming up next on Spears and Ali.
Scotty Scheffler at his press conference looked like Justin after 3 servings of Canes, just sweaty and like exhausted. Right?
3 servings, man. If you can eat 3 servings of Canes, you're a Navy SEAL.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Bless you. I can put down a Caniac combo, but man, nothing more. All right, coming up next on Spears and Ali. We got Freak Out Friday. We're going to talk about some things that are freaking us out, whether it's good or bad. If you want to join us, 719-1490, 719-1490. We got more Spears and Ali right here on ESPN Tucson and the Spears and Ali podcast. Huge thanks to our sponsors, the Volpe team and Nova Home Loans, Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, and Tucson Federal Credit Union. Coming up here in July, we've got the Iron Chef Tucson competition and culinary experience at the Desert Diamond Casino's Saurita Diamond Center in Saurita. I mixed that up. But it's going to be a great cooking showdown on July 26th. We've got Anthony Dromgoole of Oban Sushi and Ramen going up against Chef Mackenzie O'Leary of Tancaverdi Ranch. Get your tickets by going to IronChefTucson.com. The Iron Chef Tucson competition is brought to you by Blue Moon and Peroni. All right. Whiskey Del Bach. I am all over the place today.
Yeah.
Blue Moon presents it, but it's also presented by Whiskey Del Bach and Peroni. Just a lot of sponsorship mix-ups.
Well,
my apologies.
If you want me to be your buddy Ali and tell you, be honest, you're doing one thing and you're thinking about 2 other things.
Yeah.
So stop doing that, or because then none of it is going to be good.
Gotta get a new dishwasher, man.
Whatever you're thinking about, put it to the side because there's nothing you can do about it right now. And focus on your freaking job.
I will.
All right.
And by the way, shout out to Chris Edwards. By the way, he's helped me out get a new washer.
Yeah, he gets you to Dustin.
New dishwasher. Yeah.
He gets you to Dustin.
Get me to what?
Dustin.
Dustin's
his guy. Like usually.
Oh no.
Yeah.
He is all over the place.
Yeah.
Today.
I had no idea what you were talking about.
Did he get you to Dustin?
No.
Justin's like, I never dust my house.
Yeah, I was like, Dustin, what the hell?
Good dude.
Another guy I've been in contact with, but yeah, Chris has helped me out, man. Shout out to Tucson Appliance.
He's just eating out of moldy bowls right now.
Cleaning dishes in the sink, man. It's crazy.
Old school.
Yeah.
50s style.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
The world was in color.
All right.
23 skidoo.
Let's do a Freak Out Friday and talk about some things that are crazy that we have to talk about, whether it's good or bad. And before we do our Freak Out Friday segment, let's take one phone call here. 719-1490. We got our guy T-Money joining the show today. What's up, T-Money?
Gentlemen, laser tag, bumper boats, go-karts, and skee ball.
Golf and stuff. Can't get enough.
Yeah.
There
Also
we go.
used to be Magic Carpet on Speedway.
Yeah, RIP.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I used to talk about green jackets, man. I used to rock that place. They have my picture on the wall. Hey, I want to give a shout out to Brent Yormark. He's the dude. Like, he didn't know, he did what he did last year, and Arizona had to go to Lawrence, the de facto headquarters of the Big 12, and and they didn't have to come to Tucson. He didn't know. Oh, shucks, Brent, you did your best. That what a crock. That dude is he's in Lawrence's pocket, and if he were doing it straight up, he would have Tucson, Lawrence, and Houston doing home and homes every year. Either that, or you split the conference in half. But he's doing this round robin stupidity, and he's trying to put his thumb on the scale for Kansas, and it's pretty obvious what he's doing. But I want to say it's kind of cool that the only Big 12 team left in this baseball tournament is University of Arizona, because University of Arizona is going to be carrying the torch for this conference. But the biggest winner is the Pac-10. Shout out Oregon State and UCLA. It's kind of like the old days, but I'm still calling for West Coast sports to form itself back up and become what it used to be.
Absolutely, man.
Here.
And
here.
The cool thing about Brett Yormark too is, for the first time in a long time, Arizona has a conference commissioner who's going to fight for them and fight for their brand. For the longest time, Larry Scott did not do that as a commissioner of the Pac-12. And then George Klyavkov, I mean, when he took over, it was kind of too little too late. Like, I think he means well. I think if maybe he had the runway that Larry Scott had, maybe the Pac-12 would still be intact. But George Klyavkov wasn't as aggressive as a guy like Brett Yormark. And I think Brett Yormark's progressive mindset and also fighting for his schools, I think the Big 12 is going to be in a good place as long as he's the leader. So
I agree with you that he fights for his schools, but I do believe that there's a hierarchy that exists in his own mind where there's certain schools he's going to fight for more than others. And I don't know if Arizona has to prove themselves, what kind of stupidity that would be, but I really feel like, that we got the outsider treatment this year, and we're just going to have to take over the conference and show them what's up.
Absolutely, man.
And what a hell of a start we had in the conference to show them what's up with all the different sports winning titles. So, yeah, what's up?
That's what we'll talk about.
Hey, I hate to be negative, but that's where it's still, when I think about that, I think about football and man, what an opportunity. We missed something there. But I mean, hopefully this year we can make some noise and let them know. The Big 12 really is a blank slate. It really is a blank slate. And I think U of A can make a huge, not just a huge impact, but take control of the conference.
No doubt, man. T-Bunny, always appreciate your phone calls, brother. Have a great weekend, man.
All right, bear down.
All right, bear down. I love the West Coast love. You posted it on the video, man. I mean, the winner of the Omaha college baseball playoff is Pac-12. And maybe the conference was a little tougher than you guys on the East Coast who never watched, kind of like Justin with Murray State. Maybe you're finding out finally.
Well, that's kind of a good segue into our Freak Out Friday because, and I'll make it quick. As much as we love the West Coast and we appreciate our Pac-10, Pac-12 brethren, man, you guys got to do a better job with that Rocco's Jello shot challenge in Omaha, Nebraska. I just looked at that leaderboard, and I got to say, Arizona, you call yourselves a party school? You guys rave about how you guys like to have a good time. You got the pool parties and everything. Well, you guys are getting shown up by Oregon State of all people. In the Rocco's Jello shot challenge, the leader is LSU, to no surprise, at 525. Number 2 is Murray State at 385.
Let's go, Murray State.
Number 3, we got Louisville at 298. Arkansas, 235.
Oh, man, we are down there.
And wait, hold on. What's that all the way down there? Oregon State with 69. Nice. And Arizona with 55.
55
to LSU's 525. Arizona fans, I love you. You guys are a disgrace out there in Omaha.
Better.
Do better.
Are
you kidding me?
I'll put 10 behind us right now.
You kidding me?
You guys, like he didn't go to the University of Arizona, right?
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about the folks out there in Omaha representing Arizona.
Some would
Get me out there
say
to Omaha.
Being the bottom of a list of Jello shots, actually, you're the winner and shows a sign of intelligence.
We just drink beer. What kind of IPAs do you have at Rocco's? Come on, man.
No.
Get on your Jello shots game. And Jello shots are so easy, man. Just take 10 of them.
I'm with Justin on this one, Ollie.
You do 10 Jello shots and you're
for the good of the school.
It's for a cause.
Again,
for pride.
From my perspective, we're in different phases of our life. Getting blitzed on Jello shots is not a sign of intelligence or that you're doing well.
No, but it is extremely hard to get blitzed on Jello shots.
Yeah.
So if you're afraid of getting blitzed on Jello shots, unless they're really making the hell out of them Jello shots.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're looking like out there at Rocco's, but I feel like I could. Yeah.
This White Claw's got me woozy.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
I'll carry 10% of that number. I don't care. Come on.
Better, Arizona fans. Come on.
Right. You're doing just fine, Arizona fans. You'll actually be able to watch the game.
Get underneath it.
All right. Coming up next on Spears and Ali, we're going to continue our Freak Out Friday segment. If you want to join in, 719-1490, 719-1490. Stick around. Starting on Monday, ESPN Tucson is bringing you the Summer of Fun contest. Every week, we're giving you guys a chance to win a different destination vacation for you and a friend or your significant other. This year, we're giving away trips to Maui, Iceland, Japan, and Portugal. This upcoming week, we have a trip to Venice, Italy. So listen on weekdays between 7 a.m. and 6 p.m. for the keyword of the day. And then once you hear it, text it to 520-719-1490 for your chance to qualify for that week's trip. And then if you win and you can't go, you can also win $3,000 instead. So get all the information and details on a second chance to qualify at ESPNTucson.com. We're doing our Freak Out Friday segment. And I mentioned how Arizona baseball fans not showing up at that Rocco's Jello Shot Challenge, how disappointing it is being a fellow Wildcat and being an Arizona alum.
Or proud of you. Good job.
What's that?
We have different perspectives on this.
Like,
and you guys, again, you went to
now it's not
Arizona.
it's not the fact that LSU is dominating him. It's the fact that Oregon State has more. Like, Arizona fans travel better than Oregon State, and you're letting them outdrink you guys.
There's more Arizona fans there than Oregon State.
I would bet on that 100%.
I don't know, because Oregon State's baseball team's got quite a following. They've been good for quite a while.
They're pretty good,
yeah,
but they don't travel like Arizona. They don't. Nobody travels for Oregon State, no matter how good they are.
Now, again, when Oregon State came here for the end of the regular season at High Corbett, and we won the Pac-12 regular season title, there was at least over 100 Oregon State fans here.
Not buying it.
Yeah,
maybe I'm just too stubborn, but
well, that's true.
It's Oregon State, Corvallis, Oregon. I'm not buying it. But anyways, Ollie, what's your Freak Out Friday for this week?
Well, I kind of talked to you guys about this a couple of days ago, but I didn't say it on the air, so I'm going to say it today. So my brother, Omid, in Atlanta, has got 3 kids, and they have been looking for a new house for about 3 years. And they made offers on houses, and, couldn't come to terms on the price, or something else happened and it fell through. And it was just a long, long process. They finally found a house that they closed on, and it's a beautiful house surrounded by trees. Got a pool, got the deck, got everything. I don't know if I lived where my brother lived, and he may do the same thing, I may never leave the house. It's just so awesome, right? So good. I'm really happy for my brother, my sister-in-law, and the kids. So first day they jump in the pool, and my brother's just walking around the backyard again, which is just, think about luscious green, Atlanta, a lot of rain. And he sees in the bushes, like out of the corner of his eye, something sticking out of the ground. And he's like, what is that? So he goes and he pulls it out of the ground. Now, if you know anything about the Southeast or those kind of climates, one more rain and whatever that was is going to be in the earth forever.
Yeah.
Like Indiana Jones is going to find it in 100 years, right? He pulls it out. It is covered with mud. So he takes it to hose, takes it off. He's like, oh, it's a football. Keeps doing it. And lo and behold, what's the logo on that football? It's a Pittsburgh Steelers football. And I'm like, brother, if you needed a sign that you got the right house and your patience paid off, there is no better sign than that, my friend. You in Atlanta, Georgia, bought a house after looking for 3 years, and buried in the bushes, one rain away from being lost forever, is a Pittsburgh Steelers football. Omid, you got the right house.
and is he a Steelers fan?
Oh, yeah. I got him early, too.
That's amazing.
One out of 2 brothers.
Yeah.
What are the
one's
odds?
a Raiders fan, right?
Yeah, the middle brother, Raiders fan. What Ali does, I do the opposite.
What are the freaking odds, man? That's awesome. All right, we're going to continue this Friday episode of Spears and Ali on the other side. Stay tuned. We're going to talk about the College World Series in depth with Brian Peterson from AZ Desert Swarm. He's out there in Omaha, along with the other contingent of media at the College World Series. So Brian will give us his thoughts on Arizona baseball as they go into their first matchup at the College World Series against Coastal Carolina.
How's Lev liking it?
Lev did not go.
Oh, the Star doesn't have a reporter at the College World Series?
It's not the Star, it's Lee Enterprises.
Oh, interesting.
The company that owns the Star, they decided, oh, well, yeah, we're gonna use our other resources elsewhere.
Well, same another
which is very disappointing.
Curious decision by Lee Enterprises, but
not our call.
I know.
Obviously.
Hey man, not putting it on you.
Yeah. It's honestly, I'm just gonna keep it very short and sweet. It's very stupid. That's what I think it is. Very, very stupid. Because my guy Lev should definitely be there, because no one covers Arizona baseball like him. I mean, he's been there since day one, every step of the way. He should be in Omaha, Nebraska, but that's what Lee Enterprises wanted to do, and that's that. So, but we got Brian. He's out there in Omaha for the College World Series. He contributed to the Jello Shot Challenge at Rocco's. You got a couple in there, so we'll talk to him about the Jello Shot Challenge. Talk to him about the Mound matchup as well, and just everything you need to know about today's game between Arizona and Coastal Carolina. And then we're going to talk some Arizona basketball and talk about the schedule. Also talk about Becky Burke's contract with Bruce Pascoe at 8:40. Bruce covered the Arizona Board of Regents meeting for the Arizona Daily Star and had some great stories on Tucson.com and also in today's Arizona Daily Star. So check that out. But yeah, Bruce will be providing his expertise at 8:40. And then we're going to talk about the big NBA Finals series between the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Indiana Pacers. So it's going to be a fun hour number 2 of Spears and Ali. If you want to be a part of us, hit us up, 719-1490, 719-1490. All right, let's go to the phones right now. We got Gabriel joining the show today. What's up, Gabriel?
Not too much. Good morning, Ginger Assassin, the Persian Godfather. How are you guys doing?
We're great, man. What's on your mind today, Gabriel?
So in regards to Arizona football, what is the win? How many wins does Brent Brennan need to win before he gets fired? Or how many wins does he need to? How many games does he need to win?
No, I got you. Hold on, Gabriel. I think honestly, I think if Brent Brennan goes to a bowl game, if he goes 6-6, 7-5, Brent Brennan is going to be just fine. Now, if we see another disastrous season where Arizona goes 4-8, 3-9, if they are 5-7 and they weren't competitive in a lot of those games, then maybe that seat gets really hot for Brent Brennan. But I think, honestly, Brent Brennan, if he just gets to a bowl game, which I think he will, because I think the schedule favors Arizona. I mean, the opponents, we don't know how good they're actually going to be, but the fact that the first half of the schedule, 5 of those games are at home, I think that bodes well for Arizona. And then also, I think, they have bye weeks that are coming or that are going into road games as well. So Arizona, coming off a bye week, going to those road contests, they're going to feel rested. So I think the schedule is really set up nicely for Arizona to go 6-6 and 7-5. Anything else, Gabe?
I totally agree with you. 6-6, but at least try to beat the Mustard and Russ.
Yeah, the Mustard and Russ. I mean, if they beat ASU, that's a damn good. That's a feather in Brent Brennan's cap because obviously he hasn't done it yet. And ASU, they're going to be a really good team this year. I'm curious to see, though, now that you don't have Cam Scatterbo, and I can make an argument that Cam Scatterbo was responsible for like 3 or 4 of those wins last year, how is ASU going to look? Now, they do have Sam Levitt, who's a solid quarterback. Jordan Tyson is a really good wide receiver as well. And they didn't really lose a ton of guys. Like in this era of the transfer portal, like they added guys in the transfer portal, and they didn't, like the nucleus of guys that they had last year that are all, have eligibility. They decided to come back. So, yeah, I don't know, Gabriel, how Arizona football is going to look, but I feel confident that Arizona is going to be in a pretty good spot by season's end. But, Gabriel, always appreciate your phone calls, man. Hope everything is well out there in California, brother.
Thank you. Bear down, Arizona. Go Cats. Love you, Spears. Love you, Ali. Love you, Andrew.
Aww.
Take care.
Thank you, man.
Too, Gabe.
You're the best,
Take care
Gabe.
of yourself, buddy.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah. I think we're going to be just fine.
Everything's going to be okay.
And you know what? Arizona fans, you want Brent Brennan to succeed because he's a great guy. He bleeds red and blue. He's a guy that could be here for years to come. He does things the right way, not just on the field, but off the field. Yeah. These guys are doing incredible things in our community. You want Brent Brennan to succeed. You want this coaching staff to succeed. So, don't be a hater.
Well, speaking of doing things off the field, and maybe this could be kind of like my part 2, the Freak Out Friday, the positive side of it is the girls flag football camp that Arizona football hosted this week. We're talking about like 400 to 500 high school girls players at the University of Arizona competing in a flag football tournament. I think it is the first and only of its kind at the Division I Power 4 level. Like there are camps that other programs host that have like elementary school kids but it's more like a camp as far as like a 7-on-7 tournament where it has high schools of girls flag football teams coming out and competing in this tournament. It's the only one in America sponsored by a Division I college football program.
That's awesome, man. And I think as far as rising sports, I think girls flag football is going to be one of those sports that gets more and more popular.
It's booming right now.
Yeah.
I mean, just a couple of years ago, there was Marana and Mountain View and somebody else. And now we're talking about nearly a dozen high schools just in Tucson alone with girls flag football teams.
It's great.
So
it's great.
And good on Brent Brennan. Good on Brandon Sanders, the man who is, one of the most influential people at the Lowell Stevens football facility. He's in charge of high school relations, also alumni relations as well. And just being able to connect Arizona football with the past and keeping those past players connected while also making sure that the doors are open for local high schools and making sure that Arizona football is accessible to all the programs around the Southern Arizona area. What Brandon has done in the last few years, it's been a really positive development for Arizona football and something that should have been done a long time ago. But Brandon, between the alumni connections and also hosting these camps for girls flag football, having big man camps for local high schools to come out, like what Arizona football is doing during camp season in the summertime, some damn good stuff. But like you said, Ollie, girls flag football is a booming sport right now, and Arizona football is capitalizing on that, and they're making those connections, which is really cool.
And happy birthday, Brandon. It was his birthday this week.
Yeah, happy birthday to him. Him and Teddy Bruschi, one day apart on,
is that right?
On birthdays.
Yeah, all right.
Best buddies at Arizona, birthdays one day apart. Cool stuff there.
Both on the quarter century list.
Oh, yeah. All right. Before we talk about Arizona baseball going up against Coastal Carolina, and we'll have more in-depth a preview on that with our guy Brian Peterson coming up here. Let's talk a little bit of NBA Finals. We've got OKC versus Indiana, Game 4. The Pacers, they're up 2-1 in this series, and everyone thought, including myself, OKC, maybe they have the gentleman sweep. They're going to win in 5 games. Indiana, great run, but you're going up against a team that statistically, when you look at the records, when you look at everything else, I mean, one of the most impressive seasons in NBA history. But man, this Indiana Pacers team and how they are constructed, how they are coached, we got ourselves a series, and I'm hoping it goes the distance. I hope it goes 7 games, and something's got to give tonight because Indiana, they are 3-0 in Game 4s in these NBA playoffs. But Oklahoma City, they don't normally lose twice in a row. So what are we going to see tonight? I think regardless, it's going to be an epic game.
I mean, remember, OKC was down 2-1 to Denver, too. So they've been in this position before, and they're really good. They turned the ball over a bunch, more than is typical for a Thunder team. So I think if they kind of control the ball, I don't know when you want my weekend winner. Knock on wood, undefeated. If you're betting with me, and I've made this bet already, so again, I'm riding with you, then you're doing pretty good. So I just, it was 5.5-point favorites, Oklahoma City in Game 3. Obviously, Indiana won. The line went to 6.5 now, Oklahoma City. I thought it maybe would kind of get closer, but Indiana's tough, and they've got a recipe for success. They have no fear of this Oklahoma City team or their defense. And if they, the team that really protects the ball tonight is going to win. And this is the only game in this series that's got a 1-day gap. So they've only had 1 day of rest. Every other game has been more than 1 game, 1 day of rest. So
is that normal?
In the NBA Finals? Yeah, I mean, usually, they want to do Friday and then they want to do Sunday, right? So it's kind of just about
ratings,
TV.
Sure, but is there always multiple days of rest in between NBA games?
No, not always.
Okay.
But I mean, like in the finals, you'll usually have like the team that's doesn't have home court. You'll usually have 1 game that's got a gap. There may be a gap of only 1 day. When they go back to Oklahoma City, I think they're also maybe just a gap of 1 day. But the first 3 games, they had multiple days of rest.
Yeah.
Weird.
TV, baby. TV.
Yeah. It's going to be, I think, a good game. I mean, the best thing about Game 3 for us, not them, because I went to the University of Arizona, so I don't say them because they don't do enough Jello shots in Omaha, Nebraska. But it was just the game that TJ McConnell and Ben Mathurin had. I mean, and with Richard Jefferson calling the game. Mm-hmm. If you're an Arizona fan, man, that was like that was just a really cool thing, just to see those guys perform, do so well. You know, TJ McConnell, the only guy that's ever scored 5 points, 5 steals, and 5 assists.
Or 10 points.
10 points, yeah.
10, 5,
That's
and 5.
right, because I bet Matherin and TJ, I've parlayed them both the over on points.
The Wildcat parlay.
The Wildcat parlays come through. I'm going to do it tonight too. We'll see. Matherin's up to 10.5. It was like 8.5 the last game. So just to see them and to see Matherin, who's only 22. Remember, everybody's like, "Oh, is he ever going to be anything? He's just a bench player, rotational journeyman." No, man, he's 22 years old. There's guys in the draft. He's played 3 years in the NBA, or so Matherin's, he's got his ceiling. His future is right in front of him. He's not even close to the player he's going to be. So I just, to see him go for 27 and for McConnell to do what he did. People are starting to call it a McConnell when you steal a ball in air, right? He had like 3 McConnells and 2. So like somebody passes it, but you catch it in the air. You don't like poke it away. Yeah. Bill Simmons and Zach Lowe are calling it McConnells now.
Nice.
He had 3
They're
McConnells.
They're not interceptions. They're McConnells.
They're McConnells.
We got to call it all NFL season. It's McConnell's.
You can say
pick McConnell.
The McConnell stole the ball, went up for a layup.
It's a mix.
He didn't make it. The ball, they were down by 6 in the fourth quarter. The ball went out to Nemhart. Nemhart made a shot, so they're down 4. And then McConnell steals the inbound pass, hits a layup. Now they're down 2. You could say that really turned the game because Oklahoma City really finished the third quarter with a flourish. I think it's going to be a great game. This is not my weekend winner, but maybe you want to look at Oklahoma City winning the first half, Indiana covering the second half.
One of my most interesting stats that was that I found on Twitter, courtesy of Sam Quinn from CBS. In the first quarter, Oklahoma City, they are plus 23 in points. In the second quarter, OKC is plus 3. Third quarter, OKC plus 7. Fourth quarter, Indiana plus 27.
Yeah.
So first 3 quarters, Oklahoma City, they got this stuff on lockdown. But in the fourth quarter, as we've seen throughout the playoffs, don't let these Indiana Pacers hang around, because fourth quarter, that's winning time. And if they're within striking distance, more often than not, they come out on top. So
Fair. Yeah. It's here's the crazy thing about Indiana. In game 2, Indiana was down 20 with about 6 minutes to go in the game. And I'm like, yeah, they could come back. Like I'm like, yeah, they could make a run. Fortunately for me, second half I took Indiana plus 16.5, and they lost by 16, so they covered for me. So Indiana's a good team, man. Their bench is going to have to come through like it did in game 3 for them. Guys like Obi Toppin, McConnell, Matherin, they put in Shepard for a little bit. He played pretty good. If their bench can come through like they did in game 3, look out. I would love to see Indiana up 3-1. I would love it, because I want Indiana to win the series.
I would love to see Indiana win the series. And if they were to go up 3-1, how does OKC respond? Because you're so young, you haven't been in this position before as a team. If you're in that position, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, MVP, how are you going to lead your team back in the series? We're going to really see what OKC is made of, but
they could. I mean, they're going to be back in OKC, so you think that maybe they're going to come out with a vengeance, and then it's 3-2, and then it's that game 6 in Indiana, which is just going to be an absolute war. But I want to just take a minute right now to point out something that maybe not everybody's talking about. The best thing about this series is it's shining a light on 2 of the best fan bases in all of sports, not just the NBA, in Oklahoma City and Indiana. We don't really, they're not on TV that much. We don't get to see it as much. But if you look at the crowd, the noise, the amount of fervor the home team has with their crowd behind them, these are 2 of the best fan bases and the biggest home court advantages, home field advantages, not just in the NBA, in sports. So it's been
passionate,
really
more passionate. Because, of course, Lakers, right? Globally, I'm willing to bet there are more Lakers fans than Pacers fans.
Yes.
But is Staples Center like what we see with OKC and Indiana? It's more akin to college basketball environments.
Staples is pretty good. It's got a good fan base. I mean, the Boston Celtics pretty good, but we've seen it a lot. And it's they don't ratchet up. It's kind of like where McHale got when I said we got to pick it up. Is like we got complacent, and it's like, well, we're playing this team. It's not a big game. I could just sit down and be quiet the whole game. Big 12 has changed that for us. That's great. But Lakers fans are like that too. If it's like, game 5 and it's 2-2, yeah, Laker fans are going to be just like that. But Indiana, Oklahoma City, just great, like you said, passionate fan bases, and it's been really fun to watch. And we don't see any videos on like TMZ Indianapolis or TMZ Oklahoma City with people fighting in the concourse.
Yeah,
just fans having a good time and rooting on their team.
The only thing I saw was Terry Crews bringing out his guns, and by guns I mean his massive arms. Didn't know Terry Crews is a big Indiana Pacers fan.
I thought you were gonna say you didn't know he was shredded.
No, and my goodness, listen, if you're an adult, you can only wear a jersey without an undershirt if you look like Terry Crews. If you got the big guns, like, yeah, go ahead and bust out the pythons. But if you're just an average looking dude, put a shirt on.
I don't know why I don't do this. I'm going to make a list, like Justin's rules of life, right? And just make this list. And then like every once in a while we can bust it out about like, this is how Justin thinks.
Never fight a guy with a face tattoo. If I get pressed by someone and he has a face tattoo, I'm like, yeah, you got it, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
I'll start it up today.
Or cauliflower ears. There was one time my buddy was in a bar and some guy was like kind of pressing him a little bit. And one of my other friends saw that the guy had like cauliflower ear, and he told him, he's like, hey, Mike, yeah, you don't want this fight, man. Trust me. Look at those ears.
Yeah.
Cauliflower ear face tattoos, not fighting you. All right, coming up next on Spears and Ali, let's talk to Brian Peterson about Jello shots and Arizona baseball at the College World Series. We got Arizona versus Coastal Carolina in Game 1 of the College World Series later on this morning. We're going to have an in-depth preview coming up next. Arizona baseball versus Coastal Carolina, College World Series in Omaha. We got first pitch at 11 o'clock on ESPN. And our good friend, Brian Peterson from AZ Desert Swarm / SB Nation is out there covering the Wildcats in Omaha. Brian, thank you for joining us. How's it going, man?
I'm great. Thanks for having me, guys.
No, thank you.
Justin really bummed out that Arizona fans, which I think is a sign of intelligence, losing the Jello shot challenge. The thing that bumps him out the most is he's convinced there's no Oregon State fans out there. So how
is Oregon State ahead?
Would you just enlighten our friend here that Oregon State's got a really good fan base and they follow their baseball team pretty passionately?
Oregon State has a ridiculously good fan base considering the school in general. Baseball seems to be the sport that they follow the most. The Pac-12 tournaments, when those were up in Scottsdale, they would always have a great following there. And I think that stems from they always begin their season with like a tournament in the Phoenix area, and those people have just kind of joined on and become Oregon State fans. But they seem to bounce around, and I think they were like the kind of ones that probably got here on maybe like Monday or Tuesday as soon as their team got in. They're going to pace themselves. They're not going to really go super hard. That Arizona number that you've been seeing for the Jello shot, it's going to be higher. I think most of the Arizona fans were getting in last night, and we'll start enjoying the charitable Jello shots tonight.
How's the environment out there at Rocco's? I know you consumed a Jello shot. What kind of flavors are they serving up, and what's the atmosphere like at Rocco's?
It's wild. When I was here in 21, that place was doing that promotion, but it wasn't the same level. They have an entire room in the back of the place that is just called the Jello shot room, where that's all they serve back there, and that's where they keep track of the numbers. And they're basically almost mass-produced, these things, because of how many they sell. There's the red, green, yellow, all that kind of stuff. I had a red one, and the trick is you need to push on the bottom of it to kind of get the shot going up so that you can finish it quicker and then go get more of them. And every table in the place, basically people were stacking them in towers.
Oh, that's awesome.
Good margins, those Jello shots.
Yeah.
Cost 3 cents to make, and here, $5.
Yeah, good stuff there.
But it's for charity.
Yeah,
it's all for charity.
It's for charity.
It's for a good cause.
Even better. I like it.
But looking at the College World Series, Brian, I mean, Arizona baseball, the journey that it took to get here, you've been there covering them from day one. What's the identity of this team, and how do you feel about Arizona up against the field in Omaha?
This is a team that on paper at the beginning of the season had everything you would want to get to Omaha. There were question marks about how strong the starting pitching would be because they had lost all three of their starters to the MLB draft a year ago. But just you had a team full of veterans, guys at junior, senior year with experience, and that's what you need to make that deep run. And at many times this year, it looked like that was really going to be the case, but there were also plenty of hiccups and hurdles. One of their best players, Brendan Summerhill, gets an injury that causes him to miss more than a month overall. And even in early to mid-May, they lost 5 of 6, including 2 straight at home to the last place team in the Big 12. But it seemed like they never really wavered in their confidence and that their belief that they could get here. And they've used the term gritty a lot, just kind of like men's basketball. They haven't said gritty boys, but they've just referred to themselves as playing pitch to pitch and not really getting too frustrated with a loss. It's probably maybe the most amazing thing about this group is the number of times they've lost the first game on a weekend and then come back to win the weekend or win the series. And we just saw that last weekend. They get boat raced 18-2 by North Carolina on Friday, and then they come back and win 2 very close games where they have to come back late to get to Omaha. So not that you would ever want to lose the first game, but if they were to fall to Coastal Carolina today, I think that they still would have the mettle to at least get to the bracket final later this week.
Brian,
go ahead.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you, but I just wanted to talk about the Coastal Carolina matchup. What are they? The Chandeliers?
The Chanticleers.
Oh, yeah. the Arizona and Coastal Carolina. I like Chandeliers better. They got different strengths and weaknesses, and Coastal Carolina got great pitching, but from a chip on the shoulder, gritty perspective, from what I've watched, which is just about 8 innings of Coastal Carolina baseball, they seem like they were mirror images of each other.
Yeah. I mean, Coastal Carolina, the you can't really name much else from that school from the athletic standpoint. I know they've had a couple like good football teams and all that, but this is what they're known for is baseball, and they live and die by it. And they do have a team that there's not really any superstars. I think they maybe have one guy on their team that is expected to get drafted significantly high, their catcher. But otherwise, it's just dudes who go out there and put in their max effort. And for a lot of them, this is probably where their careers are going to end. So they've got that effort going there. And I heard in North Carolina last week, there was a nickname for them. It was something like the Dirty Beach Birds is what people will call Coastal Carolina if they don't like them. So you can go with that instead of Chandeliers.
No, like that. The Dirty Beach Birds.
Yeah.
So Tony Pluta was just named Stopper of the Year as the top closer in college baseball. You've seen his progress over the last year. What makes Tony Pluta, in your opinion, the best closer in college baseball right now?
It's just his great resolve and his conviction to the pitches that he throws. I mean, he's listed as 5'9". He's not 5'9", Justin. He's whatever you list yourself at is what he lists him is really. He is not a big guy. He is not a big guy, but he throws like he's 6'5", and he doesn't have tremendous velocity, but he has this great cutter that really rides in on left-handed hitters that they can't do anything with, and he has a great mix with the pitches. And I think you see this guy who's out there on the mound, you're like, this guy can't beat me, and then next thing you know, he has blown it past you, or he has made you swing at something that you were nowhere near. The pitch that they won the title on, it was a changeup. The guy was maybe 3 feet off from hitting it. He had no chance, and you just don't expect that from a person who looks like Tony Pluta, but he's made everyone wrong every step of the way.
Brian, thank you for that. And Justin, every time he goes to the doctor for a physical, he puts his hair up like Mr. Heatmeister so he can get to 5'7" when they measure him. Hey, we know all about Mason White's story. We know Summerhill. Who's somebody in this lineup from a batting perspective that may be ready to break out and help this team get to its ultimate goal of a national championship?
Well, a lot of this run they've been on for the past 4 or 5 weeks has been the bottom of the order, either setting the table or the ones getting through.
Yeah.
And that starts with Tommy Splain, who is a senior who's been around. He was one of the few guys that was recruited by Jay Johnson who's still here. And he doesn't put up big numbers, but he just seems to always have the big hit. He had the game-winning hit to win the Pac-12 tournament title last year. He just seems to have those clutch hits overall. He had a home run over the weekend in the Saturday game. But then beyond him, Andrew Kane, who is a sophomore from Ironwood Ridge High School, has really turned it up here in the last month. And the number 9 hitter, Easton Breifogel, who will probably be the leadoff man next year once Brendan Summerhill gets drafted, has had some tremendous at-bats. And he laid down a perfect bunt on Sunday and then got laid out running up the first baseline because of a collision.
Yeah.
And all of that chaos helped lead to the 3-run comeback in the top of the 8th inning in that game there.
Talking to Brian Peterson from AZ Desert Swarm about Arizona baseball at the College World Series. And so Arizona, obviously one of 8 teams in the College World Series. They're taking on the Chandeliers of Coastal Carolina, or the Dirty Beach Birds. Outside of those 2 teams, which team do you think has a really good shot at winning the national championship?
Well, on the other side of the bracket that Arizona wouldn't potentially face until the championship series, you have the 2 highest remaining seeds in Arkansas and LSU. The thing is, they play each other first, so one of them's already going to be behind the 8 ball and be in lose or go home mode after the first game. But that also gives the winner of that side, those 2, a leg up, because they now can afford to lose a game to that opponent later on and still get to play on. I mean, just from an overall talent standpoint, draft guys, all that, they definitely have the best medal. But I wouldn't be shocked to see Oregon State, which is on Arizona's side, be able to win it all. And even weirdly enough, UCLA, which was last place in the Pac-12 last year, playing mostly freshmen. Now those guys are all sophomores and juniors and have just kind of almost come out of nowhere, because they were just that's not why UCLA went to the Big Ten for baseball, but they've really kind of made it their own. And I would not be surprised to see them pull an upset or 2.
Brian, regional, super regional, the games were always, for the most part, separated by a day of rest. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I think in the College World Series, you're going mostly every day, right?
Arizona plays today, and then win or lose, they will have a game on Sunday. And then after that, if they were to win their first 2 games, they actually have 2 days off and wouldn't play again until Wednesday.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And even if they went win-loss or loss-win the first 2, they'd play again on Tuesday. So early on, it's really spread out because they don't play more than 2 games a day in Charles Schwab Field. And just to maximize the crowds and to spread this out, this is like a 10 or 11-day event if you play all the way through. And that really helps if you aren't too deep on the pitching side, so that you can get guys rest in between. So it wouldn't be surprising to see someone like a Tony Pluta or a couple of the other guys in the bullpen basically pitch almost every game in this, as long as Arizona's in it, because you have some of that rest early on.
All right. That was my question. All right. So it's not going to, your pitching depth is not that tested. Okay. Well, Brian, I want to tell you before we let you go, I love reading your stuff. Keep doing what you're doing.
Well, thank you.
I love following you, and I'm a big fan. So just wanted to say I appreciate you.
Yeah. Ali, when you go to the doctor, do you also tease up your hair? Or, oh, wait. Sorry.
Yeah. That's fair. No, I don't.
But you're also 6.
But I'm also 6. I'm not 6'2". I'm 6 feet, and I don't have to lie about it. That's okay. Not okay. Yeah.
Hey, Brian, you have an Omaha Steaks, Reuben sandwiches. What's the food scene looking like in Omaha?
So far, I have not really partaken of anything crazy while I'm here, but there is a Perkins, an old style, like Village Inn type place right next to my hotel that I'm probably going to be eating at quite often, just because it seems like if 21 is any indication from when I was here, I may be spending just as much time in the casinos on the Iowa side of the river than I am in downtown Omaha, just because I'm a degenerate gambler. So we'll see what I know there is a good steakhouse in one of those, but I will eat a Reuben sandwich in your honor.
Perkins is the best, man. That's old school Perkins. By the way, we can definitely hang out. I would be on the Iowa side too. Yeah, of course, of course.
There is a place here, Justin, that I've been recommended by Brett Gleason from Arizona Media Relations. They have a poutine burrito, so I'm going to have to check that out.
What?
Yeah,
poutine burrito. Man, I gotta go to Omaha, man. Brian, have all the poutine burritos you can eat, have all the Jello shots you can consume, and more importantly, man, have fun out there in Omaha. And thank you again for joining us today.
Yeah, good luck at the tables,
thanks for
buddy.
having me, guys.
Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah, just win,
baby.
Alrighty.
Thanks, Brian.
Yep.
Good stuff there from Brian, who's covering Arizona baseball on the behalf of AZ Desert Swarm in Omaha. All right, coming up next on Spears and Ali.
Great contingent of media in Omaha.
Absolutely, man. Bruce Pascoe, my colleague from the Arizona Daily Star, is going to talk about the Arizona Big 12 opponents with the basketball schedule, and also talk about Becky Burke officially getting her 5-year contract at the U of A. You're listening to Spears and Ali here on ESPN Tucson. Spears and Ali here on ESPN Tucson, 1490 AM, and the Spears and Ali podcast. We're going to move on. We are going to have more of a College World Series preview and give our predictions of today's game, and also check in with the U.S. Open and see where Zach Polo is at. But Arizona basketball officially announced their Big 12 opponents for the upcoming season. And fortunately, we're going to get Kansas twice a year.
Question.
Yes, sir.
Would you want that to be an every year thing? Or would you want the Kansas playing them home and home to be an every 2-3 year thing? As a fan, Justin, what would you want?
I want Arizona versus Kansas twice a year. This is Arizona UCLA in the Big 12.
So Kansas and ASU, we play them twice a year no matter what, and then rotate that third team?
I like that. Kansas, ASU, rotate the third team. But you know what, BYU,
that's got a heck of a rivalry too now. And BYU is going to be really good next year.
And that's the thing with Kevin Young as their head coach, and they're getting donors, boosters, with revenue sharing coming up here. Like, they have the #1 rated recruit in the country coming to play for them. So it's BYU's a booming basketball program. They're certainly on the rise. And Arizona, I mean, it was some interesting games between Arizona and BYU this past season.
Yeah.
Got chippy there towards the end of the game down here in McKale Center. So I think with BYU as a developing basketball, I know, freaking Tony Padilla.
Yeah.
But Arizona, BYU, 2 basketball brands. Of course, you got to play the in-state rival twice a year. But Arizona versus Kansas, I mean, you could make an argument that these are the 2 biggest names in the conference when it comes to basketball. And I think that Brett Yormark, he did it right, having these 2 teams play against each other, both at Fog Allen Fieldhouse and at McKale Center, 2 iconic college basketball venues. Good stuff there. Let's talk about the Arizona basketball schedule and also talk about Becky Burke's contract with Bruce Pascoe from the Arizona Daily Star. Bruce, thank you for joining us. Always appreciate your time. Just give us your general thoughts on the Big 12 schedule, you know, the opponents that are coming to McKale Center, and what do you make of Arizona versus Kansas twice a year and Brett Yormark really showcasing these 2 programs?
Yeah, it's exactly what I thought they were going to do. Kansas, BYU, and ASU, because they had said they're going to keep the historical rivals playing twice. So you knew it was ASU, and then based on what Yormark was saying, they were probably going to make them play Kansas twice. Kansas was going to come to McKale anyway, but to have them play twice gave them more, 2 more marquee games that they could give television and fan interest. And then BYU makes a lot of sense. I thought BYU made a lot of sense as well because them being relatively close and also, such a, developing marquee program as well. I mean, and their recruiting class is insane. The transfer portal, whatever you want to call it. I mean, they're working at putting together a team. And granted, they played BYU twice this season, but I think it still kind of makes sense because again, they're close. Television probably wants that, and since Arizona has to play Utah on the road, it gives them the chance to play a double up in Utah as well. So for all those things, I thought it made a lot of sense. And just looking at the rest of the schedule too, it seems like the Big 12 tried a little harder to make sure those doubles were comparable matchups, and a lot among the better teams or the expected better teams, which, when they cut from 20 to 18, that kind of makes sense because they're cutting out a lot of games from that schedule. So you would think that they would want to offer up the best matchups possible within what's left to they're doing, and maybe, and then mixing in a little bit of geographical sense to it as well. It's a tricky thing, but I think they pulled it off about as well as they could have.
Bruce, do you have a sense of, other than ASU, if BYU and Kansas are going to be an annual home and home, or do you think that those games are going to rotate and maybe every other year or every 3 years we'll have home and homes with both BYU and Kansas?
Yeah, that's a great question, Ellie. I don't think so, but I do think that I do think that maybe, and this is something I'd love to ask you, or Mark, or maybe some of the other people, but I think that they're going to, it indicates to me that they're going to try to keep matching up the best team. So maybe we see Arizona play Houston, home and away next season, and maybe, well, they already played Baylor twice this year. There's some other possibilities for that. In other words, I don't see them playing UCF home and home, maybe, anytime soon. So that could happen. But I also get the feeling, I've got the feeling all along from Big 12, that it's like, this is a year-to-year thing. There's no 10-year plan. Like the Pac-12 used to send out these 10-year schedule things where they would rotate. Everything would be equal over the course of 10 years. That's not happening in the Big 12. I think which makes sense in the landscape of college sports now, because everything can change in a heartbeat as far as who's in your league and who's not, or, whatever. So I think it's kind of a year-to-year thing. But I got to think, maybe there will be some more frequency to a Kansas-Arizona double play, but I don't think it would happen every year. It'll be interesting to see. That isn't a legitimate possibility, though.
All right, Bruce, before we get you out of here, yesterday the Arizona Board of Regents officially approved Becky Burke's 5-year contract with the University of Arizona as the women's basketball coach. Anything worth noting regarding her contract? Where does she rank in the Big 12? What are the numbers of her contract?
I don't know where she ranks, honestly, in the Big 12. I think it's, but I do know that she's roughly a little bit more than half, I think, of what Adia Barnes is going to make. And I think for Arizona, that's really the key.
Yeah.
They need to save money. They need to trim the budget. I went to the Board of Regents meeting yesterday where they were talking about, Desiree Reeve-Francois was talking about they had that big budget deficit that was confirmed at about $20 million for the fiscal year that ended in 24. They're looking at negative $5 million in the fiscal year that's about to end in 25. And she's saying they're anticipating breaking even in fiscal year 26. So that's the key. Becky Burke seems to fit into helping them get there, at the same time getting, what appears to be a coach who's kind of an up-and-comer and proven herself on lower levels. And, it's a fit all the way around. I think the interesting thing is, that a little bit less, and then she still has 5 years of this contract, and that's a pretty big commitment. But as we all know, if she does well, that contract's not gonna exist. That may get ripped up at some point if she does really well. So, but for now, it seems to be a good fit financially for U of A, and otherwise to get her.
Yeah, she's been a ray of sunshine since she's been here. Really enthusiastic. Hey, Bruce, before we let you go, Tommy Lloyd's off to Switzerland, coach Team USA U19. Any lobbying of Lee Enterprises to send you out there so you could follow Coach Lloyd?
Yes, and it's not been successful so far. We only have so much resources, and we have a lot of things going on. But I am going to go to Colorado next week for the training camp for a couple of days. So I'm happy about that. And then I'll hope to write a couple of, but some live things there, but also look ahead a little bit to that World Cup. But yeah, Switzerland was tough. I mean, it's a lot of days, and the hotels, as you guys probably know, Switzerland's a very expensive country. So, it's a lot of days and of expenses there. And so that was I think, I mean, you never know. There's still maybe a Hail Mary out there, but as far as I know, it's not looking good. But anyway, we'll be able to cover it as well as I can in the camp next week. And then telling what this team is about. It's interesting to me, not only Cole Pete there, but there's several recruits in the class of 26 that are going there, and they probably won't keep many of them, if any, on the team. To Tommy Lloyd and some of the other coaches there as well. So that's key. And then, the World Cup, the FIBA World Cup is, it's a pretty big deal, especially in a lot of other basketball countries. It's the top junior teams. And, last time U.S. went 2 years ago, they didn't even medal. So it's not like there's a guaranteed gold out there. It's going to be, it'll be something.
Bruce Pascoe, Arizona basketball insider for the Arizona Daily Star. Check out his work at Tucson.com. Bruce, always a pleasure, man. Thank you for joining us.
All right. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you. All right. We got Friday's weekend winners coming up next. Stay tuned. Hope all the dads out there have a great Father's Day weekend. Happy Father's Day to you, Ollie.
Thank you, brother. Looking forward to, we got our firm retreat on Friday, Saturday. Sunday, I look forward to sitting on a couch watching the U.S. Open before going to see my dad for Father's Day.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to my guy, Mo.
Yeah. Not Maurice.
Not Maurice.
No. Some people call me Maurice. Woo, woo.
Yeah.
No, they just call him Mo.
Mo.
Yeah.
Mo Farang.
Yeah.
Tucson legend, man.
Yeah.
So every Friday, Ali gives us some good betting advice. And let me tell you, it is good. Ali, in the words of LeVar Ball, never lost. Undefeated, man. Let me go ahead and knock on wood there.
Yeah.
But Ali, you've done great.
Let's see how good I am, because he just gave me the Spears, jinx.
Mwah.
Yeah, kiss of death. He doesn't like it. My success is his loss.
No,
He's a zero-sum friend.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, shoot, man. I bet on Pascal Siakam a double-double. You called it a stupid bet. Yes, it was a stupid bet. So I need some good mojo. Help me out.
All right. So this was a tough game, right? I mean, usually like the last game, Halliburton going over 17.5 was almost too easy, because everybody was saying Halliburton needed to be more aggressive in the game. His coach was saying it, Rick Carlisle. So you saw Halliburton come out and shoot quite a bit in the first half. I think he had like 14 points in the first half and ended up with like 22. So easily won that bet. I also had double-double on Halliburton. Halliburton over and double-double. This game, tough to call, but I'm going to lean towards a more Oklahoma City. I'm not going to say that we're going to win. I don't like the -6 line. Indiana is just too good, but I'm going to lean towards Oklahoma City bouncing back as far as a playing perspective on the court. And what we saw in game one was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander went for 38, and he only had 4 assists. The ball wasn't moving, and there was a lot said about that. Game two, the ball moved more. He scored a little bit less. I think he had 33, 34, but he had 10 assists. Game three, same thing as game one. You saw the ball not moving, very stagnant. They're waiting for SGA to make a move. He scored a bunch of points. He scored 24, I bet the under on him on points in that game, but he took a lot of shots and really trying to draw fouls. So for today, I'm going to say a repeat of game two, where Oklahoma City is saying, we need to move the ball. Let's not just rely on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I am going to bet. It's -130. Don't be greedy. My big bet, one bet, is SGA over 6.5 assists.
Okay. I'll lock it in right now.
Yeah.
Now, as far as the game later on this morning, here in a couple of hours, 11 a.m. on ESPN, Arizona versus Coastal.
Yeah.
We both got the Cats, right?
I mean, I'm rooting for the Cats,
course.
but I don't know enough about Coastal Carolina except for like the 8 innings I've watched of them. And they're a tough team. It's going to be really tough. Everybody's good now. So like Andy Lopez, former Arizona coach, said, it's the team that gets hot and has timely plays, makes the right plays, the good plays at the right time, just like Arizona did on Sunday against North Carolina. They turned an error into 2 runs and won the game.
Happy Father's Day to all you dads out there. See y'all on Monday.